Oh man, we cannot do another tequila day. I can't take that much tequila. Folks, wow, this is like market U-turn market here. Somewhat potentially reiterating some of our longer term concerns here going into September and October. But yeah, geez, I'd say let's go ahead and hop on over and see what's going on at the sticks. We can also give CNBC a listen, which we'll do here briefly. Let's go ahead and see what they have going on. And we do have the S&P green, but we've definitely got some red within the S&P. So we're going to go dig through this, see what's going on, and let's figure it out together.
Inflation is wages, and I'm just watching it right now, right? I mean, it started with the non-farm payroll numbers, average hourly earnings of 0.7%, expectations for negative 1.1%. So big upside surprise there. But I'm just like anecdotally talking to companies and talking to business owners. Wages are going up. People and companies have to spend more to get the workers in the door, and that's not going to change.
No kidding. There was just an alert of an article I read about McDonald's raising wages because they just can't find workers. This comes after we heard that McDonald's was paying people just to go for an interview. Look, they're probably talking about it right now. That's too funny. But yeah, folks, let's go ahead and jump on over to the sticks, and then we'll come back to CNBC. We're about 13 minutes away from the market close, folks. Look at AMC. We smashed through $12. I mean, absolutely smashed through $12. Ran over to $13. We have cooled a little bit here towards the end of the day, which is very, very common with a trader style stock. So we did get a very, very strong run here. We got some profit taking early in the day, but that profit taking notwithstanding, we had a pretty much straight old uptrend here for AMC. Very, very nice push on AMC up to $14.22. We have lost about $1 since then. This is very, very common again with the trader stocks to see a sell-off towards the end of the day. But we have seen almost a perfectly similar pattern over at GameStop. Take a look at that. A very, very, very similar pattern over at GameStop. GameStop up 14.7% today. Let's go ahead and take a peek at our all stocks list here. We also have Naked brand up, Express and Cost. Folks, all three of these right here being very momentum based and quite frankly, all of them following a very, very similar pattern of trader momentum coming in and then some profit taking here towards the end of the day. Lemonade, which is not really a trader stock, in fact, I wouldn't call it a trader stock at all, is all of a sudden up 7.61%. I did buy some call options on Lemonade. I'll send out an alert for that in the Private Stocks and Psychology of Money group, which many of you already are members of. Thank you for that. By the way, this morning, we were talking about Instagram. You know, Siri, you got to stop that. We're talking about Instagram, and big shout out to all the course members. While we were in the course member live stream this morning, a bunch of you subscribed or followed me on Instagram, and we're now over 100,000 on Instagram. Pretty cool day. I mean, we hit a record here on IG, got to 1.6 on YouTube. Thank you for those of you subscribing to the channel. Really, really exciting. Amazing community we've got here. Sonos up 7% today, down off some of those highs that we saw in the after hours. We do see Marcus Corp, a recovery stock, movie theater and hotel chain, up nicely at the beginning part of the day here, but really flattening throughout the latter part of the day. Peloton holding on to that 5.5 to 6% gain move here. A lot of volume within the day, pretty consistent. Had Steel Dynamics back up another 5%. Dave & Buster's moving back here. Dave & Buster's has had a sell-off down from its usual balancing point of around 44 to 45. Seeing a little bit of a recovery here. JP Morgan up 3%. Marriott, Home Depot, United all around 3%. Americans up. A lot of our recovery stocks moving upward, including Apple, Microsoft, and some of our FANG names here. Endeavor's up as well. Visa's up 1.8%. The S&P's up 1.6%. Alphabet, Spirit, Facebook, eBay, all these guys nicely moving upwards in the day here. Let's go ahead and take a peek here at our losers today, though. Our losers are Riot Blockchain down 14.5%. Of course, the sister company, it's not really a sister company, it's just the way they trade, down about 13.6% here as well. Bumble also down 14%. Hut 8 Mining had a wonderful interview with Sue and Jamie over at Hut 8 Mining a couple hours ago. Take a peek at that if you have not seen it yet. Sort of reacting to the madness of Elon Musk. We do have Voyager Digital all of a sudden down 12%. This is one that has really been swinging a lot. I mean, I'm pretty sure we opened up somewhere. Hold on, I'm on the 5-minute chart here. Let's go to the minute chart here. There we go. Go to the minute chart. Pretty sure we opened up. Oh, we don't have. I see. So the thing is, we don't actually see open and close divided by pre-market and aftermarket because it's an OTC. So sometimes that makes it a little harder for you to know where the days. But we did. We were up on this, and all of a sudden we're down 12%. We've got Dogecoin down 12.6%, down to 38.6 cents. Big Digital's down, another crypto play here. Crypto really hurting here. Even Coinbase getting spanked a little bit. Was very, very close to buying some Coinbase today. I ended up buying other shares. I did not. Well, one of them you could say is maybe 10% crypto related. That'll be enough of a hint there. But yeah, I did of course post my alert. We put about what, 120, 150? No, it's about $150,000 into different stocks today. So as usual, I'm adding about 1% at a time. It's less than 1%, but it's like 0.8 or 0.7. I don't know exactly what it is, but adding, and you can see I'm nibbling. These are all just little nibbles. It's not like I'm going, that's it, I'm taking 20% of my portfolio and going all in. So little nibbles. We've got Coupang, Archimoto, Coinbase, all these guys down about 8% here. Ethereum down to 36.72, really cooling off some of these highs here. NEO kind of going straight down, and so are the other electric vehicle manufacturers. In fact, I have not even seen where Tesla is. There it is. Oh, okay, there it is. We'll come back to Tesla in a moment. Tesla's down about 3%. We are going down the list here of losers, unfortunately, today. BNGO, PaySafe, Clover, Zom, Microvision, Opendoor, Alibaba. All these guys down about 6% here. Tilray, Arclight, Twilio, Luminar, Teladoc, Aurora, Electromechanica, C3, all down around that 5% range. Xpeng actually had good earnings and optimistic information regarding the future of a reduction in the supply chain shortage. Despite this, nope, not interested. Market down 4.8% on Xpeng. Seeing a lot of the Asian stocks hurting a little bit. Coupang, Xpeng, NEO. These guys hurting a little bit more than usual. Not sure if this is Chinese trade tensions or exactly what's happening here. We do have Coinbase reporting earnings after the bell, so we'll be paying attention to that. Square under 200. Pretty juicy place to add to Square. It is a higher earnings, higher multiple company, though, so keep that in mind. Like when I do my valuations on Square, I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, we got to count some growth in on Square. Now, we do expect Square to grow very well, but it is certainly a higher earnings, higher growth company. You've got Tesla here down at 571 with Bitcoin down about, down to 48.9 right now. Probably lows in, not quite lows intraday. Lows intraday were about 47,000, trying to bounce off these over here. We've got Golden Nugget, Honest Company, Macy's. Liato, that's interesting to see Macy's over here, especially with the recovery stocks actually doing very, very well today, with the exception of Macy's. You got Churchill Capital down about 2.5%. The others are down about 3%. Invitae 2%, Enphase 1.8%, AMD around 2%, Tattooed Chef around 1.58%. SunPower, Fannie Mae, Dropbox, Chipotle, Etsy, Nordic American, all these guys down about 1.25%. Yeah, I got a little bit of red over here, and then we get back to our greens over here. AMC really just kicking butt. We are seeing it slow down a little bit towards the close. This is not a surprise going into the close to see this kind of sell-off on a, let's see, here we go. There we go. Not surprising to see a sell-off like this going into the close on a trader stock. Let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of CNBC here. I want to pull up inflation numbers in Bloomberg as well. Give me a moment here.
New news, a partnership as well. Square, PayPal, MasterCard, really like real companies that are embracing this whole thing. So adoption is increasing. That's very good. Transaction fees, that's the problem I have with this story because it's 96% of total revenue. I want to see that diversify. That being said, market share is almost 12% versus 5% just a couple of years ago. So they are certainly doing the right things. And again, as adoption increases over time and more broad-based, I think that they will benefit. I don't own it. I'm not involved. I don't have any Bitcoin exposure, but I do think this is a fascinating story. And this is the gold standard.
She's nailed it. I mean, with the big thing that we want to see at Coinbase, and we're not sure if we're going to see that transition now, we're obviously going to see transaction revenue I mean, the expectation is transaction revenue is going to go down. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but the expectation, at least for me, is transaction revenue is going to go down. But what we want to see go up are those other revenues. Remember, my projection for Coinbase, which very, very difficult to do when a company is not public and it's DPO, where you don't really have expectations for pricing and no lockups. My projections for Coinbase consider no transactional revenue. They consider just growth over the next 4 to 5 years in non-transactional revenue. So we're going to want to see a turn over to more non-transactional revenue and more additional forms of revenues, which are more profitable for Coinbase anyway. Coinbase Pro being one of my favorites for purchasing cryptocurrencies on, especially the variety of Coinbase or a variety of cryptocurrencies you can purchase. Also keep in mind Binance, there's a headline that Binance is being potentially investigated for helping tax fraud. So some potential things to pay attention to. These are things that could also weigh on Coinbase, by the way.
So I own so many reopen names at this point. This is not one of them, but I think the whisper number of 110 million Disney Plus subscribers is the number, right? And then the other question we have is Netflix saw a pull forward, right, in their quarter. So it is the same thing happening on the OTT side for Disney as well. And they are playing catch up. They have 100. They're gonna
just so you know, pull forward would mean that, hey, look, you had all these great numbers in the past, but then you don't really see them anymore because, well, you've already gotten those people signed up, and now you got less people to grow to.
They opened up California at the end of April. What does that look like? What's that trajectory? So I think it's I know
California ain't open. Okay, I was just there. It's 25% open on as of April 30th. But we do have Disney reporting today. I have to say, I love Disney as a company. This is a company that is not going anywhere. I cannot wait to see the Disney earnings.
Right now, if you look at a kind of an enterprise value to cash flow, it's pretty much a Netflix valuation for the entire company. Remember, the company includes ABC Network, it includes parks, it includes selling T-shirts. It's not just a streaming business. It's kind of got valued that way because it's in this elite, American eternal brand type portfolio. Plus, they completely did figure out streaming, and everyone is justifiably excited about that. So I think that's why it's a little bit of a struggle on the valuation side. Yes, there's definitely leverage inside as parks open up to actually have earnings get back toward normal and better. But it's not like the overall company, based on this current valuation, is going to be.
Okay, we are 2 minutes away from the closing bell. It is true, Florida parks are open. I want to just read off some of the names here that I plan on taking a peek at or watching for earnings. If I'm missing any that you want me to report on the second I see them, let me know. I right now have Disney up. I've got Airbnb up. I've got Gevo up. I have BNGO up. I have Blink charging up. I have Dash up. And let's see here. If I'm missing any you want me to take a peek at, let me know. I'm going to add Aurora Cannabis to this as well because they're reporting today as well here Thursday. Yep, May 13th. All right, lucky number 13. Got about a minute left to the closing bell.
But we did get up well above 25, now down a few points from the high. That tends to mean the market settling down and probably.
Duh, Coinbase. I'm so stupid. How can I forget Coinbase?
Yes, a tremendous amount of hedging going on this week. That's probably net bullish once we get out of this choppy period, but only know in retrospect.
Did you hear that? Tremendous amount of hedging this week. That's what we talked about. We saw that in the options monitors. Tremendous amount of hedging this week, which could be bullish in the future. I added Dash and I added Coinbase.
The most, 55 points with a 3% gain. 3M, Honeywell, JP Morgan also doing quite well. If you look at the S&P 500, it's also coming back strong, up 1.25%. Still down for the week, but
I got Dash.
Break a 3-day losing streak. Financials and industrials are your best performing sectors, along with utilities. Although everyone's higher except for energy, the Nasdaq is higher by 0.75%.
They gotta fix the audio on this bell. It's so loud now.
Come back. You are seeing groups strong inside the Nasdaq, like the semiconductors, the chip stocks. Some of the big cap tech like Apple.
Can't even hear Sarah. It's bad. All right, folks, that's the close. Let's listen to the music if we can.
Welcome to the closing bell, everyone. I'm Wilfred Frost.
Can't even really hear that. Well, we're green across the board. Look at that. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, all down up 1.29%. S&P up 1.22%. NASDAQ up 0.72, and the Russell is up a 1.66. We do have Dogecoin down at 38.44. We've got Ethereum down at 36.47 and Bitcoin at 38.7. Big losers today: Riot Blockchain, Bumble, Marathon. Riot down 16%, falling a little bit more into the close there. We do also have earnings coming up on multiple companies here, which we'll be covering in just a moment. Bad day for Tesla after the Bitcoin talk. Tesla ending at 751. Great day, though, for AMC, closing up 23.6%, GameStop up 14%, and Lemonade up 7.5%, with Peloton catching up, rallying into the close on Peloton at 6.65%.
Released. Stephanie Ling from Hightower is still with us, and Tiffany McGee from Pivotal Advisors joins the conversation. Mike, to you first of all, and I guess summing up today's action is great intraday bounce, but not everything took part in it.
Yeah, clearly we released.
Oh, Coinbase out. Coinbase revenue comes in at 1.8 billion with an expectation of 1.81 billion. That's a tiny, teeny little miss, but it is a miss. Verified users over 56 million. Net income was 771.5. Let's see here. That is in a little above the expectations. It's within the median range though. EPS coming in at $3.05. We have Coinbase revenue rising to 1.6 billion from 179 million a year ago. EPS again coming in at $3.05. Coinbase falls after earnings are released. That is not surprising, with a slight miss on expectations there. I did not buy any coin today. Coinbase down right now about 2%. We do have the red candles popping up on coin here, though, in after hours on news of really just a very, very small miss, but a miss nonetheless. Miss is a miss on Wall Street. We've got, okay, what else we have here? Shareholder letter. Okay, got it. All right. Gevo reports a loss per share of 5 cents. Not sure what the expectation was. Airbnb just came out. Let's see what we can get on Airbnb here. Gross booking value came in way above expectation. That is very good. Came in at 10.3 billion versus 7.47 expected. Revenue coming in at 887 million. That's almost $1 billion at Airbnb versus 719 expected. That is a big beat. Q1 loss came in at 1.95. They were expecting a 1.1 loss, though. That is a miss on the bottom line. That's a big miss on the bottom line. Much bigger loss than expected on bottom line, but a big beat on revenue and gross bookings. And they expect their Q2 revenue to go back to similar levels of Q2 2019. Loss impacted by debt repayment, warrants, and impairments. That does not sound good. Going back to 2019 levels, I guess 2019 levels, Q2 2019, that could be okay. It just depends what the growth was for Q1, so of 2020 or 2021 here. So I'm not sure. I feel a little mixed on what to make of that. I would expect going back to revenue of Q2 2019 to be a good thing. But we know Airbnb has been taking off. A loss greater than expected, though, because of debt repayment, warrants, and impairment. The revenue and gross bookings was actually very good. So this, I think, is a little bit more of a complicated earnings report, where if we kind of parse it out a little bit, maybe it's not as bad as we expect. Let's see how the market is reacting. Coinbase now down about 5.7% in the after hours. No, Airbnb also going down. Take a look at this. Airbnb down about 4% at the moment. And Coinbase dropping about 6% in the after hours here. Let's go ahead and give CNBC a listen while I pull up the other earnings reports we're expecting.
The Street's estimate, we are still sorting through this, and this may be what is hitting the stock right now as investors try to digest this and include some one-time offs, including an impairment charge as it consolidates its headquarters.
See, I basically beat them to that whole thing. I even said it's going to be harder to digest. I think they're listening to me. Blink Charging Q1 loss comes in at 18 cents versus expectations of 15 cents at Blink Charging. That is a larger loss than expected at Blink. However, revenue coming in at 2.23 million versus estimates of 1.8 million. So revenue up, but losses up at Blink Charging. We've got revenue of 2.23 billion at Blink. Nothing yet on Doordash or Aurora Cannabis. Going back to Coinbase for a moment, All right, let's see if I can pull up their financial statement. And I do want to take a peek at, let's see here. Let's see what we can see for transactional revenue relative. It might take a moment to sort of digest it here, as these usually do. Okay, those are expenses. Give me your sheets. Oh, man. Here we go. Okay, these are assets. Let's go to revenue. Here we go. Revenue. Okay, so they did not compare to the last quarter that they gave us. They let's see here. Transaction expense. We want to see other revenue go up. What was other revenue in the last one here? I'll get to the bottom of that. I'm going to keep looking for other earnings here. I'll get to the bottom of Coinbase as well.
Companies have already been pretty suspect, and Airbnb falls into that realm of huge addressable market, great brand, growing really fast, tremendous number of customer connections. We don't know about profitability long term.
Let's get to Coinbase reporting results for the first time as a public company. Kate Rooney with the numbers. Kate.
Hey there, Sarah. These are the official Q1 numbers for Coinbase. They had given us the preliminary earnings before the public listing back in April.
That's right. When we had the DPO, we had the preliminary numbers. That's right. And the net revenue was supposed to be, they gave us a range of net revenue. So now we can see the actual net.
We don't have a comparable number for that. Net revenue was $1.6 billion. Almost all of that, $1.5 billion, was from crypto transaction fees. So that is still making up a majority of the business. GAAP earnings, meanwhile, came in at $3.05 for the quarter. Coinbase now has 56 million verified users.
That's right. They projected net income of between, not net revenue, net income of between 720 or 730 to $800 million. It actually came in at 771 million.
Saying that, quote, our competitors are supporting certain crypto assets that are experiencing large trading volumes and growth in market cap that they don't currently support. They say that they welcome these challenges and they indicate the market is growing rapidly. They also continue to move quickly to address them, and they say that it inspires them to towards some action and growth. Guys, that is likely a nod to Robinhood offering Dogecoin. Coinbase does not offer Dogecoin right now. They have that asset has seen a massive run up lately. And finally, guidance. They gave 3 tiers or sort of scenarios based on market conditions and the price of Bitcoin, which is down big today. It did fall below.
Yeah, no kidding. Disney out. Disney just came out. We've got on Disney EPS coming in at 49 cents, adjusted EPS 79 cents, net revenue of $901 billion, total revenue of 15.61 billion in total revenues. Paid subscribers at 103.6 for Disney Plus. Disney Parts, Experiences, and Products at $3.17 billion. Media and Entertainment Distribution revenue, $12.44 billion. Adjusted EPS coming in at 79 cents. The estimate, folks, was for 32 cents. It's very good. However, Disney Plus misses on estimates for Disney Plus subscribers. Disney Plus subscribers estimated to have come in at 110.3 million, actually only coming in at 103.6. Disney has, let's see here, Disney misses estimates on subscribers. Yeah, we saw that. Disney shares dropped 4% post-market as subscribership misses. This is very similar to what we saw happen with Netflix. And let's see here. Okay, that's the big coverage right now. Let's listen a little bit more on Coin.
I think that's very important. But I also think that, regulations are very important too. And that, I think, is...
BNGO is up about 13% in the after hours here. We must have just gotten BNGO. Let's see here. BNGO just posted a financial statement. I don't have any highlights here from BNGO. There we go. Q1 revenue coming in at $317 million. They must have beaten really. Yeah, here we go. BNGO beats on revenue, jumps 12% in after hours. Blink had an EPS miss, but beat on revenue. We saw that. Doordash just coming in now. Here we go. Doordash just came out. Okay, Doordash. Here we go. Doordash revenue, $108 billion versus $995 expected. That is a beat on the top line. Marketplace of, let's see, marketplace. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, marketplace. Okay, there we go. Q1 orders came in at 329 million. They were expecting 303.8 million. Marketplace governance, I believe that is 9.91 billion versus estimates of 8.96. I'm not familiar enough with Doordash to understand here, but Doordash is jumping 11% after a beat on a Q1 revenue. We have a fiscal year EBITDA of 0 to 300 million. The expectation was 0 to 200 million. So really increasing that potential upside. We're putting a loss per share of 34 cents, but the beat is definitely moving Doordash higher here.
Trading down in after hours, and that seems to be because the Disney Plus subscriber number, which is a closely watched number, smaller than expected growth, coming in at 103.6 million subscribers to Disney Plus.
Take a look at the sticks here. We got BNGO up at 12.7% here, although BNGO has had one mega heck of a sell-off recently. If we go to the day chart here on BNGO, I mean, we have just gone straight down on BNGO. So a beat here at BNGO is absolutely welcomed and quite frankly just deserved at this point. We had highs of $15 on the stock. Right now it's a $4.90 stock after the 12% beat here. Doordash, similar story, might be up 8% right now, but look at the chart here. I mean, it's well below IPO pricing. Right now it's at 124. Hit IPO pricing closing day was about 182, or at the close, it's about 182. So well below IPO pricing here. Enphase up slightly in the afters, but Disney down 4% right now. It had been very stable here, but rotating down on a miss, just like kind of Netflix had a miss here. Coinbase down about 3% right now in the afters as we digest some more complicated earnings here. Let's go ahead and drop to the minute here. Getting a little bit of a recovery here. And remember, they released a lot of their numbers as sort of preliminary results, and then they gave us that net range of, our net income should be somewhere between 730 and 800 million. Came in at 771. Airbnb did have a miss in the after hours, but is also recovering. So both Coinbase and Airbnb recovering here in the after hours. AMC also now down about 2.86.
That we started to see come out in the last couple of quarters for Netflix. This might start to paint the opposite picture.
Right. I mean, I think it's still percentage-wise still a faster rate of growth.
Yeah, Doordash loss was expected to be 26 cents. Actually lost 34 cents, but still had a beat on that revenue and that forecast, really exciting the market here.
Was up to this point. So they just accelerated. They hit multi-year targets in the first year, it would seem. Yeah. So I think that's why you have this moderation of trend. And
moderation, they're calling it. Sens just reported. Sens reports net revenue of $2.85 million versus $36,000 year over year. It's a massive increase in revenue. Cash and cash equivalents sitting at $178.6 million versus $18 million a year ago. Loss per share coming in at 68 cents. We do have a net revenue beat on estimates here. Net revenue coming in for Q1 of 2.85 versus estimates of 2.16. So we do have a revenue beat. I'm not quite sure actually if we have a bottom line beat here. I don't have estimates on EPS, but it does look like we have a big revenue beat at Sens coming in at 2.85 million versus 2.16 expected. Sens in the after hours is up about 1%.
All of their platforms, they had 146 million subscribers. And, I'm not...
Quickly, also, Doordash is presently rotating back towards the downside. It is up about 5% in the after hours, not as high as it was. BNGO, however, holding on to some of its gains here, still up 10%, starting to rotate down right now. One that's really moving to the downside right now is, what is this? Plantronics. Plantronics is down 16%. I'm going to go see if I can pull up Plantronics to see what happened here. I mean, the way this movement is occurring here, it sort of implies a big miss. All right, here we go. Revenue coming in 11 million, EPS of 25 cents. Adjusted EPS came in at 1.23 versus expectations of 93 cents. That's a beat on adjusted EPS. Net revenue coming in at, also on a beat at 476 million versus 455 expected. So far that's a double beat here. Top line, bottom line beat. There it is. Forecast misses estimate. Forecast, it's all in those forecasts right now that everyone's trading. People care about what the future is. Very, very common here.
Disney subscriber miss when we are joined by an analyst who thinks the stock can rally another 20%. Plus, value investor Scott Black says the market is still very expensive despite this week's pullback, but he will name 2 stocks that he thinks look cheap right now. That's coming up. Closing bell back in 90 seconds.
Does look like Gevo missed EPS by about 1 penny, and BNGO still rallying about 12% in the after hours now. Blink charging, beating on revenue, but missing EPS. Doordash really kicking butt here. Revenue triples amid sustained demand for food delivery. See, that's what people want to hear right now. The market wants to hear that you're still growing. Despite the growth being had, you're still growing. Cannabis, Aurora Cannabis comes in at, ooh, that's a miss. Aurora Cannabis comes in at a Q3 net revenue just announced here, 55.2 million versus estimates of 68.9 million Canadian dollars. That is a miss. That's probably a good 15% miss there. No, not that quite. Maybe 12% miss. No, actually, no. Let me just do the math really quick. 55.2 divided by 68.9. Oh gosh, it's closer to a 20% miss. Oh, my head math was off there. Well, good thing my gut was like, wait a minute, Kevin, you're doing that math wrong. Yeah, that's a 20% miss on Aurora Cannabis on revenue. It's probably not going to do good in the after hours. Oh, but then again, everything's topsy-turvy, so who knows? Who knows? We'll just go look. ACB, Aurora Cannabis is... See a red candlestick down about 1. Okay, now about 2.5%. Looks like the market's really just starting to digest these earnings in this miss. We got a big candlestick to the downside here, down about 2.59% here. Disney down 4%, and Plantronics accelerating even more on a forecast miss here. Ouchie, ouchie.
Hey, Will, so far, little evidence of a slowdown at Doordash as the economy reopens. Revenue beat $1.08 billion versus $993 expected. That's up nearly 200% year over year. So that growth continuing. Gross order value holding up also $9.9 billion. That's up 222% better than expected by nearly $1 billion. Loss per share 34 cents. Unclear if that is comparable. So we'll dig into that. Also, and this is key to why this stock is perhaps popping some 6%. Raising guidance, gross order volume for the year, raising it to $35 to $38 billion. Adjusted EBITDA guidance raised to $0 to $300 million. That was previously $0 to $200 million for Q2. Also raising guidance, GOV guidance, that's gross order volume, 9.4 to 9.9, and adjusted EBITDA guidance for the second quarter, $0 to $100 million. There's also some comments in here, guys, about Dasher supply. So they also have been affected by a labor shortage. They said it was affected. They saw a shortage due to better than expected demand, severe weather, and the stimulus impact. But the company says that shortage was resolved by the end of the first quarter. And that's interesting because that's in contrast to what we're hearing from Uber and Lyft. They're still dealing with their own driver shortages. Lastly, Wilf and Sarah, just want to mention that Airbnb did manage to go briefly positive. I think as investors sort through that bottom line and some of those one-offs, however, just falling slightly underwater by about 1 1/3% at the moment already, just hovering, kind of going in from gains and losses. So we'll continue to dig in and bring you that. Back to you.
Dee, thanks so much for that. Airbnb recovering some of its losses, DoorDash jumping nicely. And don't miss, by the way, Jim Cramer's exclusive interview with DoorDash's CEO. That's tonight.
All right, let's go ahead and pull off CNBC here. Let's jump on over. I want to also see how treasury yields are behaving. But first, let's just get a quick update here on the figures. We got BNGO. It's still holding on to that 10%, 9.5%. DoorDash still doing well. Look at that CNBC pump here, folks. We got those earnings here. Then it started falling. And then here's your CNBC pump. You gotta love it. Sends up 4% here. We did have beats. And Plantronics is really one getting smoked right now. That's rebounding a little bit. Disney up 4.5%. Coinbase, Disney down 4.4%. Coinbase down about 4.3%. Yeah, both of these moving to the downside here. Wayfair's down a little. ChargePoint's down a little. Etsy's actually down 0.8 here in the after hours. Let's go ahead and take a peek at, let's see here. Let's go to our 10-year. So jumping over to our US 10-year. Right now we are sitting at rotating down on the 10-year, which is a good sign, especially after that crazy CPI data, sitting at 1.65% right now, well off that 1.72 we saw there. We do have a headline that just came through here. Look at this. Tesla is headed towards the biggest weekly loss since March of 2020. Wow. Tesla, already down after taking an abrupt turn allowing purchases of vehicles with Bitcoin, saw its losses deepen Thursday for an unrelated currency, a cryptocurrency development. The electric car maker fell for a fourth day as people familiar with the matter said Binance Holdings, the world's largest crypto exchange, is under investigation by the Justice Department and the IRS. The double whammy of news has Tesla eyeing its worst week since March of 2020. Woo! That does juicy things for the options you already have. I mean, the options you haven't bought yet. Great. Let's go ahead and take a peek over here at Tesla for a moment after that headline there from Bloomberg coming through. Give that a shout out here to Tesla. Where are you? Where are you, Tesla? I know you're somewhere over here in the red. There you are. 568 now. Hey, we thought we would bounce around 666 a lot. We're going to be bouncing around 566 soon. What's the next stop? All right. Let's go ahead and give Fox a listen. Let's jump on over and see what we got over at Fox News. We have a TV commercial at Fox News. Okay, well, that does us a little good. In that case, let's go ahead and see if we got anything on Bloomberg Live TV. Bloomberg Live TV. Let's see what we have here. So far, everything's on commercial. Bloomberg Live. We do have 10-year Treasury falling a little bit here as equities are falling slightly. Yeah, Bloomberg Live's got nothing for us yet, but CNBC does have some coverage for us. Let's go ahead and give them a shot here.
Hulu Plus, ESPN Plus, plus Disney Plus, you start to see retention that actually exceeds the gold standard of retention, which is Netflix. So, so I think that Hulu is kind of the secret sauce for Disney to learn and to grow in terms of their prevention. And outside the U.S., they have a similar play that they're executing on right now by launching Star as part of a bundle. And I think it's going to really help Disney overall with the growth of their streaming services globally and compete with Netflix in a world where kids-focused service alone is not going to stand. Is not going to appeal to the entire population, although they've been pretty good at getting at least half of the streaming subscribers so far.
Okay, we're kind of losing her a little bit. I'm going to pull off her coverage here. Instead, I do want to mention that Cardano, ADA Cardano, is down to 1.89. It's still up 10% in the day. So don't get me wrong, after the Elon coverage, it's still up. But net rotating a little bit down here to now 1.88%. Yeah, let's see here. Well, Bloomberg TV is just down. Okay, no problem. No Bloomberg TV for us today.
How it shot up to about 15% recently for the coming 5 years. That seems like it's super bullish, and basically all the companies are thriving, which is true in the moment. But
Speaking of thriving, make sure to check out the Thriving coupon code down below to get access to my private alerts when I buy the dip or when I make a sell transition. You'll get those first and see exactly what I buy or sell. Let's keep listening
here. So I would say that basically people are getting a little bit overconfident perhaps in projecting earnings multiple years, even if right now the forecast revisions are relatively positive. Take a look at this other dynamic in terms of how we're valuing different sectors. Industrials forward PE is now exceeding that of tech. So this really tells you the story of this market after many, many years where tech really was known for being the expensive, if fast-growing group. We have industrials right now that are far more favored, and even materials are getting up there, guys. You could argue that those earnings estimates are going to go up to justify it. We have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, wow, and it's not like the tech B there's pulled back that much either. It's just a massive surge for industrials. Mike, thank you. The home builder ETF up more than 100% over the past year, but value investor Scott Black thinks one stock in that industry looks very cheap. His pick.
Ooh, in the housing industry. I'm curious to know. Then again, do we care what the suit thinks? They're just going to manipulate us. All right. While they go on commercial here, let's take a peek over here. What do we got? Plantronics down 18%. Romeo Power falling about 10.7%. Aurora Cannabis down 6.4% here in the after hours. We do have Walt Disney bouncing around 4%. Coinbase somewhere around 3.87, 4% down to the downside right now. And really the winners here in the after hours are BNGO and Doordash, Playboy actually also doing very well here in the after hours. Playboy is giving us a little bit of a run here. I keep an eye on Playboy. Otherwise, pretty stable with the exception of earnings here. We do have Yelp all of a sudden falling a little bit, 3.25%. Naked Brands falling a little bit. Some of the momentum stocks giving up some of their push today. But Aurora Cannabis and Coinbase and Disney, these guys really moving a little bit more heavily to the downside. Although Disney, yeah, there's Disney. Okay, Disney at 4%. Oh, is Disney not on our watch list? What a sin. There we go. I fixed that. Yeah, really the winners here. Again, DoorDash, BNGO, Poshmark even up 4%. All of these guys have really been getting beat up here recently. Poshmark got destroyed almost yesterday. And so nice recovery here today. All right. Somebody says there's a debate between Michael Saylor and Elon. Is this true? Let's go ahead and see if we can cover that. All right. Let's see what we got here. So, Elon Musk. Yeah, we do still have Cardano down a little bit here. It's up on the day, but rotating the downside. Oh, yeah. We do have a little bit of something going on here. Let's go ahead and take a peek at this, folks. Follow me on Twitter, @RealMeatKevin. Okay, so energy usage trend over the past few months is insane. Elon Musk referring, maybe potentially trying to justify his argument, because a lot of people are wondering, like, hey, Elon, why'd you U-turn? And now providing this chart here, Bitcoin electricity consumption. I'm trying to find out what these different lines stand for here. Okay, here we go. Upper bound estimated consumption and lower bound consumption. Okay, got it. So these are 3 different levels of consumption here. You're seeing the middle and upper bound really move to the upside. I wonder why why there would be such a disparity in upper bound, theoretical upper bound. Yeah, I'm not really sure what this here is, and then theoretical lower bound, and this is what they're assuming. So really, if you go with this middle line here, the middle line is a little bit more, the energy usage that we're seeing. So we kind of zoom in over here. Yeah, we see that middle line moving, certainly not as extremely as the upper bound. Yeah. We'll have to learn a little bit more about their mythology to understand this a little bit better. Here we go. Given that the exact electricity consumption cannot be determined, this company provides a range of possibilities: lower bound, upper bound, and estimate or best guess. The lower bound corresponds to the absolute minimum total electricity expenditure based on the best case assumption that all miners always use the most energy efficient equipment available in the market. The upper bound estimates specifies the absolute maximum total expenditure based on the worst case assumption that all miners always use the least energy efficient hardware available. Oh, okay. And then they make the estimate. Well, I mean, you shouldn't look at the upper bound because that's implying that people aren't upgrading their hardware, right? So I think the upper bound is really a mistake to look at. You should really be focused on the best case estimate, which the best case estimate, in fairness, it has risen substantially. The estimated consumption went here from somewhere around 50 to 65 to about 148. So you definitely have a bump here. But anyway, let's continue to look at Elon here. Michael Saylor, ironic because no incremental energy is used in Bitcoin in a Bitcoin transaction. The energy is used to secure the crypto asset network, and the net impact on fossil fuel consumption over time will be negative, all things considered. So this is true. So what this is this is a way of saying, and we've mentioned this before, this is a way of saying that Bitcoin uses a certain amount of energy to function. If you divide by transactions today, sure, you're going to have a high transactional cost per transaction, but we can add a ton more transactions and then the cost per transaction plummets. So argument here by Michael Saylor. Let's see if we have other responses here by Michael Saylor. All right. So summary, the Bitcoin proof of work architecture anchors the crypto asset network physically and politically to the firmament of reality, driving ferocious competition in the marketplace to decentralize, improve, and secure the network, thus assuring vitality and integrity over time. Okay, so in other words, proof of work makes it stronger and safer over time. Oh my goodness, this is a whole. That's sort of the summary of his whole on his whole on discussion here. I would say probably some of these responses are going to be worth going through in maybe a more dedicated style video. But yeah, definitely interesting here. So if you're interested in checking out the debate over here with Michael Saylor and Elon, fascinating here. I find it very interesting too. This chart Elon is referencing. Although, yeah, I mean, hopefully he's not looking at that gray line, because I think the gray line's a little ridiculous. Taking a peek here back at the sticks. BNGO, Doordash. BNGO down a little bit. Doordash up a little bit here. Upstart back to up a little bit as well, 3.41. However, moving to the downside, you got Aurora Cannabis almost down a full 10%. Walt Disney and Coinbase vacillating a little bit below the 4% level. So there's the update for today, folks. Check out that link down below on joining the programs on Building Your Wealth. Thank you so much for being here, folks. We will see you in the next one. Thanks again for being here.